The Wasteland is a wild place. For decades, people have managed to eke out their livelihoods from what is salvaged post-war. The hardships of man are nothing new. Day to day, the struggle to survive takes shape in many forms. I'm the StoryTeller, and in this series, I'm going to take you closer to flora and fauna in the Wasteland than ever before. Edna and I have been all over this vast post-war hellscape, and I still have stories to tell. So grab a Nuka-Cola and sit down for a while as we guide you through the folklore and history behind Fallout's nuclear-powered wildlife. This is the Wild Wasteland.
Seems like an excellent plot of land you got here, stranger. What seems to have you so worked up?
Sure, it's a good area, except I got all these Deathclaws breathing down my ass. They're like a goddamn big man.
Ah, good old Deathclaws. I have seen these before. We'll see if we can scare it off for you. Let's go, Edna. You know, Edna, a lot of folks think Deathclaws are just a big, deadly byproduct of the Great War. And who could blame them? They're damn big monsters. They got teeth as long as your arm, legs as big as tree stumps, and claws that can tear a Corvega in half. So it would not be foolish to assume that the bombs caused the Deathclaws to mutate to this. But that couldn't be further from the truth.
Back before the war, the United States was working on ways to supplement human troops in battle. The military experimented with a lot of different things. They found some great success mixing the ubiquitous Jackson's chameleon, which would eventually become what Wastelanders know as the Deathclaw. These chameleons, pre-war, were native to East Africa, but also introduced to Hawaii, Florida, and California. Jackson's chameleons are native to woodlands and forests in south-central Kenya and northern Tanzania. Don't get me wrong, Edna. The military hadn't created the Deathclaws that we see today. No, not by a long shot. Around 2162, it would be the master who would refine the Deathclaws into what we see now. Richard Gray didn't utilize the Deathclaws in any tangible way. He just messed with their DNA until he saw fit. He made them harder, better, faster, and stronger than ever before. The Deathclaw today stands about 10 feet tall, with a very muscular and lean frame. Their skin seems as tough as iron, deflecting most small caliber shots that make contact. At the end of their very long arms sits foot-long claws, capable of slicing flesh with a single swipe. All those experiments warped their senses too. Not even the fabled nose of dog meat could compete with the Deathclaw when it comes to the smelling of its prey if it doesn't hear it first. They are pretty much blind though, Edna, so the whole deck isn't stacked against us just yet. Some can still change colors though, like their pre-war ancestors. That might make things a little more exciting.
They're pretty vocal too, Edna, with a roar that is shocking enough to stop a person in their tracks. Though you might hear a Deathclaw shouting or roaring, they lack the vocal cords necessary to speak. I know what you're thinking, Edna. What about those Deathclaws the chosen one of Arroyo came across in Vault 13?
That was thanks to the Enclave. In 2235, after the Enclave had sent an all-clear signal to Vault 13, the group dropped a unit of Deathclaws into the vault. These Deathclaws had been exposed to the FEV, or Forced Evolutionary Virus, from the Enclave. The virus had strange effects, boosting the intellect of the Deathclaws, most becoming as cognitive as an 8-year-old human child, and some even rivaling adults when it came to intelligence. All logs report that these Deathclaws were highly advanced. They were able to reason with other species, like humans, and even showed abstract thought. You are right, Edna, they did talk, but not the same way people do. Much like the tales of pre-war birds, the Deathclaws would mimic human speech, making their words a little rough around the edges, but they were still able to communicate well. The last holotape I saw about the pack said that they all met a pretty violent end once the Enclave figured out they hadn't been following orders. instead of killing humans that poked around too close to home or capturing them for the Enclave. It would frequently let them into the vault, allowing the people in the area to find some pretty excellent protection from the elements. Who isn't going to feel safe in a vault filled with smart, friendly Deathclaws?
There she is, Edna. Looks like we might have a fight on our hands. Off to the big Deathclaw sanctuary in the sky. Come on, Edna. Let's tell our friend he won't have to worry about that beast anymore. Hard to believe that people all over the wastes are dealing with these mutated lizards. From coast to coast, the Deathclaws made its home all over the Wasteland. They're taking up refuge in old machinery or abandoned mines, waiting for the next meal to start poking around their territory.
Deathclaws have a considerable pack mentality. You may see one walking alone, but they always belong to a pack. I have seen in old holotapes that they are one of the most social creatures when it comes to their species. All around the Wasteland, you can find different kinds of Deathclaws. They have a strict hierarchical system with alphas and matriarchs at the top. They will do whatever they can to protect their kin. You may think seeing one of the pack leaders is rare, but there are some Deathclaws out there that are even harder to find. Some like Goris, who was with the pack at Vault 13, are albino, their skin turning pale as snow and the hair on their body turning gray. Those are a sight to see, Edna.
You know, Edna, not every animal has become so dangerous. Humans across the wastes have managed to use some animals to their benefit. Whether it be for companionship, important work, or even dinner, the wildlife can be a great resource to man post-war. It doesn't take long when looking around settlements to see which animals have earned their spot next to humans. People have trained some species to carry their supplies on long trips. They have even found a way to harvest their meat. But that, Edna, is a story for another day.
I want to thank you all for watching this episode of The Wild Wasteland. If you'd like to see your name in these credits, and you want to support the series more directly, consider checking out the Patreon link down below, as well as the YouTube channel memberships. And if you want to see me play all the Fallout games pretty much daily, check me out at twitch.tv/TKs-Mantis. We also got merch down there if you feel like looking fresh to death. Anyways, thanks a lot for checking this out. Leave a comment down there telling me what you think, and I'll see you on the next one. It has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch